This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. She gets right in there, but she does not fool around. And she attacks and attacks.
Well, she got what, third last year, didn't she?
You're ready to go whenever.
Second or third. What she did. Okay. Chad, you slide up here. Okay, let's call the February 13th Richland City Council meeting to order. Welcome those in attendance and those online. Let's first order, well, we have a quorum. And first order of business is swearing in of the new city council member. She need to raise her hand?
Yep.
Okay. I, Janda Ferguson, do solemnly swear to support the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of the State of Minnesota, and to discharge faithfully the duties of the office of council member of the City of New Richland in the County of Waseca, a state of Minnesota, to the best of my judgment and ability, so help me God.
I do.
Great, thank you and welcome. You wanted to sign that and we'll get
Yeah,
it.
well, I'll get it after.
Okay.
Put it on here. I got it. Nice one.
Okay, roll call. I got ahead of myself. We already have that done. Okay, Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first thing we need to do is a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second, and nobody has any additions.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Consent agenda items. One item under consent. We have a motion to approve.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that one.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Any discussion? Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Public comments. Okay. Request and presentations, Melissa Gregg. That's you? Hi, come on up. Sure, if you would like to. None of us bite, so you're safe.
You gonna sit in the hot seat?
Yep.
All right, I don't know if anybody has brought chickens before you guys before. Backyard chickens allowed within city limits. Has that been
Not recently.
recently? Okay. Well, so we would like to bring it to your attention again. I mean, we have a list of reasons. I think you guys have it in your packets.
Mhm.
Yep.
If you wanted to take a look, we think that chickens, backyard chickens, are kind of a harmless pet to include if you put parameters around it. So, you know, the ordinance would have all of that in there. That makes it less of a, I'm not good at public speaking, sorry.
Mhm.
So less of a nuisance to neighbors. They would give food security to the people of New Richland and healthier food at that. The eggs that you would get from your backyard chickens, they have a more varied diet and a healthier lifestyle than those, you know, for the mass-produced eggs you get in the grocery store. So it's a healthier food. They're a sustainable pet to have. They will take food garbage out of our garbages and make it into manure that you can use in your garden. They're good education for kids. That's kind of another reason that we're looking at it.
Okay.
At allowing them. They also are a requirement to have a pet like them for like 4-H groups. So that's another education component, another activity for kids. And then some pros for the city. Well, one thing that might be kind of something that the city doesn't want is noise, but they've measured, you know, that they are quieter. If you have hens only, they are normally quieter than like barking dogs, which I have a few on my block that I can hear, even with in the
I've got
winter,
one
you know.
ready.
And then they can also produce revenue for the city. You can charge, you know, kind of whatever you want for your permits. I've seen from $10 that Minnesota Lake charges, like New Ulm charges 50. And then another thing is just like very large cities like Mankato or even Minneapolis, they allow chickens. New Ulm allows chickens. Duluth allows chickens, and then some smaller towns near us, like Minnesota Lake and Janesville, allow chickens. And some things that most ordinances, you know, to keep neighbors happy is your neighbors should approve. Most ordinances have that, hens only, and they usually put a cap. I have an ordinance that I modified a little bit from Janesville to have 4 chickens as a maximum for a smaller yard, like a regular backyard. And then it's 8 for like if you have 2 acres or more. It should be 25 feet from any like habitable buildings. And no free roaming is what most ordinances have, including this one that I brought here. I modified 2 things from the Janesville one, and I used the New Ulm one to modify it.
Okay.
So, and then I made it clear by crossing out the Janesville one and putting the, so that's. Yeah,
Well, that's an interesting proposal.
Okay.
Sounds like you've done some your research and know of towns that are presently supporting something like this. Do you get any feedback from anybody, you know, like Janesville or New Ulm? Do you know anyone and how it's going or how long they've had the ordinance?
I guess not. I know New Ulm has had it for a few years. I actually used to live in Minnesota Lake and I got a pass there, but then we moved. So
Okay.
not to say that I would do that here. We're kind of settled now. It was, but no, I guess I don't have any feedback on
Okay.
if it's going well. I think that, you know, most ordinances say they can pull it at any time, so I would think that they would have pulled it
Okay.
if they were having issues.
Well, I grew up in New Richland, not in town, but I had an aunt that had chickens, a lot of chickens.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there was or wasn't an ordinance at the time, but as far as I know, no one said or did anything. And I think you can see around town, chicken coops or penned in areas that aren't used anymore that have been here for a while. People just haven't taken them down. So at one time, it must have been something that was done. But I know my aunt did. She had a lot of them.
Yeah.
So I don't think, Tony, we just accept this now and then we.
Yep, and if you would like, I can definitely reach out to Janesville and I can reach out to Minnesota Lake and kind of prepare some sort of preliminary report for you guys for the next time, since we're gonna more likely work on the animal ordinance at that next meeting anyway, so.
Yeah.
Would we have to have somebody to inspect the, you know, annually or to inspect the coops?
It can be as intricate as you want it to be or as loose as you want it to be, just depends on how you wanna write that.
Because that would either cost money or time or both, I guess, to have someone to.
I'll reach out to those 2 places
Yeah.
and prepare some sort of preliminary report for you guys, and then when we have that work session on the animal ordinances, we can work on that, because we're gonna have a public hearing on the animal ordinance anyway, and if we're gonna have chickens, we still have to have a public hearing, so
Okay.
if we're gonna do it, we might as well do it at the same time and not.
Yeah.
And that way she can be notified that she might.
Yeah.
I'd like to gauge how much more interest there is in the community for having them, and if there's any that are opposed to having
Yeah.
them, if you could.
There was a Facebook thread on like the New Richland chat group Facebook page where
I did see
there were a
that.
handful of
I saw
people
that.
showing support, but yeah.
Okay.
That'd be kind of.
For like crows?
Pardon me?
Well,
Oh, yeah.
one thing, can I add back here?
Sure.
Oh, sure. Oh,
Or
yeah.
Go up there.
Oh, you
You
can,
can talk from there.
either place.
We gotta make
Well,
it
I
up
can
here.
sit right here, you're fine.
Okay.
Okay, so one thing too, is we do have a butcher market and we are, hence the name Farm and City Based, that's kind of why I brought chickens up. And I'm hoping to have full support for it because for one, it's food security, high prices in eggs right now. For the lower income businesses, or not the businesses, sorry, the lower income they can provide their own food too. That was one thing that I thought about.
Okay,
They don't have those necessities. Supporting local businesses is a big thing to me. I
Sure.
work in a small town business, we're supporting. I actually met Melissa
Yeah.
through Neighbors Meat Market. She was buying eggs, we couldn't find eggs anywhere. Well, we were lucky enough to have some farmers provide eggs for us. That's how I met her.
Okay.
And so I will try to find some feedback. I don't know if you want me to put like a Facebook post or something, or how you would want me to advertise that out. To see what, I want to know people's
I can-
opinions too.
Why don't you let me try to put some sort of formal survey up on our Facebook page?
Yes, I would like that
Yeah,
to be more
that'd be great if you
formal,
could do that. I'd
not
like to see
me
what-
putting it out there. I'd
Yep.
rather have it formal.
Sure. Yeah, one of the things I'm thinking about, if someone wanted to raise rabbits in town, can we do that with currently?
Without looking at the ordinance.
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
it's addressed in that ordinance,
Okay.
but I don't know how
It
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 is.
depends on what a rabbit is classified as an
Domesticated.
animal. If it's a
Domesticated
domestic
animal.
animal, if it's a non-domestic animal.
Okay.
It's not a domestic
Yeah,
animal.
I was just trying to think of something to compare to.
Mhm.
Rabbits would be quieter, of course, but.
What I think you might want to do is when you know that public hearing thing is, if there's anybody that you know is interested, have them come up here and have some input.
And what, okay.
Because we have to listen to them.
Yeah,
Right, that's what we have a public hearing for.
Yeah, so I will do a Facebook survey and then I'll just make that part of that preliminary report for the next council meeting. And then you guys can kind of go from there.
Okay, thank you. Yeah,
Oh,
go
can I
ahead.
add one thing though?
Sure.
about, if people are opposed, I understand, but there's also like your immediate neighbors usually have to okay it, so maybe,
Right.
yeah, I mean, of course, people can vote no. but I was
Sure.
just gonna add that, because then keep happy neighbors, because they
Okay.
can say no.
Thank you.
Never home for you.
Well, thanks. You have some
I'm not.
compelling information and some good thoughts, and Tony will do a little research. We'll get the survey up on Facebook, and then we'll go from there. Maybe in a couple of weeks, we'll have some, we'll get it back on the agenda, and we'll see what goes on.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks.
so
Thanks.
much.
Oh, yeah,
Thank you, guys.
great.
I can't keep my bird feeder fees full.
Gee, well, they won't be running wild.
No.
Okay. Ordinances and resolutions. We have resolution 23-02, accepting donations.
Yes, the New Richland Police Reserve had their own checkbook. Due to the limited staff and just the way things are, they've chosen to close that account and donate that to the city of New Richland for the police department, for the police
I was wondering how it got here.
Yeah, so they're just gonna,
Okay.
So it'd be earmarked under capital for any,
do we still have a police?
at the moment we do, yes.
Okay.
Okay. Someone like to make a motion?
Make a motion that we adopt resolution 2302.
Is there a second?
I'll make a second. Oops,
Second.
a second.
Okay, we don't want to fight. Any more discussion?
I got a question. So if this is the donation from the police reserve to be used for police reserve stuff, what happens if in 6 months police reserve goes out?
Then the city can choose to do with that money, whatever they would choose to do with that money.
Okay,
Thank
any
you.
other questions? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Department reports. Ambulance report in writing.
Yeah, just one of the most important pieces is they had their inspection.
Yeah.
And they passed the inspection with flying colors, no
Great.
corrective actions. Everything looked good. They are requesting some training supplies, but most of everything is less than $500, so I'm not even gonna ask you guys to approve that money.
Yep.
But
Thank you.
Sarah's working on putting together a folder for the EMSRB so that when they come to do their annual inspection, there's kind of a checklist of how to go through it and all that kind of stuff. Let me see, there might be one other thing.
There's an executive meeting tomorrow, I believe, at
Correct.
4:30.
Yep. The only other thing is they needed to update their equipment damage policy, so that's attached, so, if you're okay with it, my recommendation would be to accept the ambulance report with the modification policy as amended by the.
Was that for, because of state law or insurance
I think
reasons?
it was something that they discovered during the audit.
Oh, okay, all right. Okay,
Yeah.
we have a motion to approve the ambulance report.
So moved.
Second,
I'll second that.
okay, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Next on the department reports is the fire department report, also in writing.
Very, very busy month, one call, one witness. Training with bloodborne pathogens, right to know annual required OSHA stuff. And then they did have their annual firefighters banquet and invited all the retirees and stuff.
Great. Okay, we have a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the fire department report.
Have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Police department report.
I know Denise was having some children issues, so she may not make it because of that, but, just a quick note. They attended the Minnesota South Central Investigators Conference, said it was a really great conference and good training. They will be attending what's called a hostile event response communication training, which is basically a live shooter, kind of active shooter event where they go through and talk about how they're going to attack the situation and remove the threats and remove injured and endangered persons. And it's actually a really cool event because it involves law enforcement, EMS, fire, all kinds of other first responders, CERT, things like that into a full-blown thing.
So this could be like a hostage taking situation or
So,
anything?
just like an active shooter kind of hostage type deal,
Okay.
yeah, so.
All right,
And then Denise and I are looking and working on, working with the sheriff's office on potentially finding a newer vehicle. Since our squads we have one that's 106,000 miles and one that's almost a little over 100, so we need to start thinking about it.
Yeah, they're good.
have you seen any out there? No? Okay, do we have a motion to approve the police department report?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second it.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, let's move on to unfinished businesses ordinance update.
So Jody brought up a good point, since we have kind of things down to a science again now, and our meetings aren't taking 2-3 hours at a time, that we could potentially hold a work session immediately following our regular council meeting, as opposed to trying to set up another date to handle that,
Yeah.
so.
Okay.
My proposal to you guys is that after the next 2/27 council meeting, that we would hold a work session on the animal ordinance. And then on the 13th of March, after that meeting, we would do on the nuisances. I have attached both our current animal ordinance and our nuisance ordinance, and then also I have attached Janesville's ordinances. I have had quite a few communications with Lynn Clinton over in Janesville, and during COVID, they completely and totally rewrote their whole entire ordinance package.
Wow.
And their attorney reviewed everything, and their attorney is now our attorney. We have the exact same attorney.
Good.
So Clinton basically said that don't reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
If we see stuff in there that we like, you mean definitely take care of it. So what you have for homework is to go through the animal ordinance. Just come up with some ideas, or if you see something that we might need to change, or have some thoughts or processes to make things smoother, or clarify something, or make things easier, you could kind of have that ready to go for our work session at the next meeting. And then the only thing that I guess I need from you is I would like a motion to set those 2 meetings as work sessions immediately following the normal business meeting of the council.
Okay, anyone like to make a motion for those 2 work sessions? Can we put them in the same motion?
Yeah.
Okay,
So for the next 2 meetings?
Yep.
So I'll motion to do work sessions after the February 27th and then March 13th meeting.
I'll
okay,
second that.
we have a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. Okay, new business, mobile text alerts.
So 2 weeks ago, we had a significant, water main break, right in front of my house.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, due to the weather that we had and some of the, there's a lot of ordinance up there.
Yeah, it's a thick packet.
Due to the weather that we had and just the way things were
Page
going
106.
with water and such,
Almost that.
the shutoffs were not working properly to get the water to stop running so that they could fix the problem. So long story short, we ended up having to turn off the water tower to get the water to stop, which shut off the water to everybody. There was no, we put stuff out over Facebook, but as you know, not everybody gets Facebook, not everybody gets whatever. I believe I talked to at least a third of the town that afternoon on the telephone.
When did you shut it off? When did you shut it off?
2 weeks ago, it was, I don't remember.
During the day?
Like
Wasn't it-
4
Yeah,
o'clock,
during the
wasn't
day,
it?
it was like
Oh,
4
okay.
o'clock.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah.
What if it did affect electricity?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's not water, no.
So I just thought that another awesome way would be able to have a text notification system so that if something like that happened again, I could push out text messages and say, hey, listen, City of New Richmond has a water main break. We're shutting off water for what we expect to be 40 minutes. Please don't call City Hall. We are aware of the problem, and just do that. So it's actually, the service I'm looking at is actually $250 for the year. I would just do the $20 a month and test it out, but it's 500 messages a month that you get as part of that $20. But if you do month to month, they go away after every month. If you pay for a year, they roll over. So
Oh, that's even
you
better.
keep the 500 messages every month that rolls over.
Sure,
So if
because
we have
some
a
months
month-
you're not gonna use it.
Exactly. So my thought process going into this would be that we would put the message out over Facebook and also send out this message to anybody who's subscribed to the messages at the same time and try to get as many people as possible. Additionally, there can be a contact text message number that somebody can connect to contact City Hall
That's a good idea.
as well.
Yeah.
So
how do people get signed up for this?
we will put it out over our Facebook and we'll probably put it on our
Bill.
water
On the
bill
bill.
information. Yeah. So.
Cool.
And I think $250 and my thought process is
Yeah.
that's billed between the city, water and sewer.
Yeah.
So,
That's what I was gonna ask, how are you gonna divide up the
like
cost?
$80 a piece.
Yeah.
You know,
Do you
Nobody-
have to know who their cell phone provider is to
don't,
do
you
that?
just sign up to do the 5-digit, whatever code it is.
And
I think it just says you text New Richland to this number and then it signs up for, and then on the back end, you can see all the stuff.
I'll make a motion, we accept the text message alert system, put it in place.
Okay, we have a second?
I just got one other thing. It looks like we use it for snow parking reminders too.
Yes, we could, yep.
All right, I'm all for it then.
Still need a second.
I'll second.
Okay, any more discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. No miscellaneous, administrators report.
Continue to work on the year-end items and the tax return, I'm done with preliminary stuff now. Now I'm working on audit stuff. The rest of this week I will be only working on audit stuff unless somebody comes in. They're due, I think, here the first week in March to do our audit. So I'm hoping that it'll be done well before September. The DocuWare system has been installed and it's amazing. It's working really well. Submitted the annual peace officer certification to the state. That's so we can get our peace officer aid. I also submitted the annual fire department aid form, so we'll get our fire department aid. Annual payroll was done.
How much do we get out of this?
I think the police department is around, top of my head, $16,000 to $17,000, and I think the fire department's $24,000, something like that.
Thanks.
That's worth going for.
I just want to say a special thank you to Jessica from the Minnesota Valley Council of Governments. She really helped us get through Sarah being gone. She put in almost 40 hours of work at absolutely no cost to the city.
Yeah, that's
So-
very generous.
That's really good.
Yeah, I will be sending a thank you to her. And just, it was great. She's a previous utility billing person too, so she was able to jump in and handle all
Understood.
that stuff that needed to be handled. And able to take a few phone calls and stuff, so, you know, I know that there's some cost to that, but I mean, that's a huge deal, being able to have that there, so.
Where was she driving from?
Well, she works at Mankato.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that was, and Sarah's on the mend and,
Sarah's back full time.
okay,
Yep, so we're good to go.
all right.
Yep, and then employee
Awesome.
recognition, Caleb Hagan and from the fire department, February 25th. I did not have how many years. I apologize for that. Shelby Freed's ambulance anniversary. And then Dustin Russ, Braden Thompson, and Braden Dock all have their birthdays this month.
Nice.
And that's what I got for you on that.
Okay. Do we have a motion to accept the city administrator's report?
I'll make a motion to accept that report.
Have a second?
Second.
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, last item, mayor and council comments. I have two.
Go ahead.
One,
So because I was just thinking about this spring is coming and I know we were working on this last fall, but how are we doing on things with Legion Field?
As far as I know, we are on the list as soon as they're available to come and install stuff.
Snow's gone and
Yes.
that kind of stuff.
I believe Stork booked everything last year for their first available date for the spring.
To get a bid.
The bids are in. I have all the bids. Yep.
Oh, okay.
But everything's bidded out, everything's quoted, everything's estimated. It's just a matter of getting them here to
Yeah.
do it.
I just don't want the city to miss out on the generous offering from the school district.
No, it'll be
Yeah.
taken care. It may. I have a bad feeling that it's going to be after the varsity season,
Okay,
but between summer ball and
little kids
yeah,
coming.
I think
Okay.
it's going to be that time frame
Okay.
because I think they're pretty well booked up for the spring.
Did they give estimates in the bids for like how long this will take?
I would venture to guess it's a very quick turnaround.
Won't take long.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I don't think so.
All right.
And then just to remind everybody that the what was bid out was the backstop for the baseball field, new home dugouts, and then the backstop for the south softball field.
And no netting or fencing up?
That's
Okay, well, that's what you mean by that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Perfect. And my other question is, did you ever hear back about or inquire about the car wash?
No, I didn't hear any comments from anybody about anything, so.
Did you call and ask them?
No, I don't.
All right. Well, if I run into one of them, I'll ask them just to see what they have to say.
Yeah, it's probably on my list of notes, but I got sick and then.
Yeah. Okay.
It's all right.
All right. No, that's fine. No
I
big
had
deal.
one question, but now I have two. You sent out, Tony, you sent out a thing for, our ability to go, and I think it's looking at, W-2s for our council pay. I can't get into that.
Okay, I can print one for you.
That'd be nice.
Can't actually do it right now, but the company that we're using just redid their whole system like last week.
Oh,
It's
Okay.
all
It
new,
took me
it's
a
all
while, but I was
cloud,
able to
it's
get
all,
mine.
I think they fixed the problems that we were having getting that stuff, but I'll print you.
And the second one is kind of related. Remember where we, over here just last month, were asked about filling in on that road where the
Yep.
railroad used to be? What would it be to talk to the state or the railroad about taking the railroad out on 30 when you go over that hump?
I think that would probably be our cost.
Why? It's a state highway.
Well, yeah, I think I can ask, I know what the state's gonna say, if you want it out,
Just ask.
you're gonna pay for it.
I'd like to see.
So, yeah, I don't know why, yeah,
You don't ask, you don't get.
Great.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Any other questions from anyone else? Okay. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn. That's a first.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.
7